Hello all, I am the Watch Gent, and in today's video I'm going to do a review of my collection in 2024. So I've been collecting watches now for probably about 5 to 6 years, and this is the first video I've done to show you all my collection so far. I've had quite a variety of watches over the past 5 to 6 years, so I probably should have done one of these videos a little bit sooner. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's get on to the collection. So the first watch I'm going to show you is my Seiko chronograph. I've had this watch approximately 15 years. The reference number on the watch is 17920HX0. This is what I'm probably going to class as my first real sort of proper watch I've actually owned, and it's not the one that started my collection off, but it's one I wore quite a lot for about 10 years before I did start collecting. It's quite an unusual Seiko model with the integrated bracelet. But I do quite like this, as a lot of the modern day watches that are coming out at the moment do have this feature. And as you can hear whilst I take the watch off, it does still have the Seiko jangle to the bracelet. So the next watch I'm going to talk to you about is the Casio F91W. This is a watch I think everyone should have in their collection. I never wear this watch, but for nostalgic purposes I do have one in my collection, as the first watch I can actually remember wearing is one of these when I was about 10 years old. These are fantastic little watches, and this one's definitely going to stay in my collection. Next up is a Satina DS Action Diver in 43mm with the green face and bezel. I purchased this watch about 6 months ago to mark a milestone birthday. It's a fantastic watch and it's a great everyday wearer. I particularly like the clasp on this watch, as it has a great micro adjustment system, as you can see here. The thing that drew me most to this particular watch was the green dial and bezel. These make great everyday watches, and this one's definitely had a lot of wrist time since purchasing it. I do recommend these for anyone who's looking to purchase an entry-level diver's watch. So the next watch in my collection is another diver's watch. As you can see, the next watch is an Omega Seamaster reference 2531.80. I've been after one of these for quite a while, as I'm a massive fan of the Omega Seamaster, especially the Neo Vintage versions. Growing up in the 90s and watching the Pierce Brosnan era James Bond films, this is the watch I've always wanted. These watches are steadily increasing in value, and personally I think these are going to be some real collector's pieces in years to come. Also, one thing I do particularly like about these earlier models is that they actually use an ETA base movement over the coaxial escapement movement. This means servicing of the watch becomes a lot more affordable and easier to have done. The watch does have a few dings and scratches over it, but personally I don't mind this, as it adds a bit of character to the watch. So the next watch I'm going to show you in my collection is a watch that I've had probably about 5 to 6 years. This was my great granddad's watch, and it was passed down to me from my mother. It is a 9-carat gold Accurus watch, and it dates from roughly 1957. As you can see, the watch is in fantastic condition, and this one only comes out in very special occasions. The case size is quite small on this watch. I think it's about a 32mm. The one thing I like about this watch the most though is the curved second hand, which you can see under the dome crystal. I'll just pop the watch on so you can see what it looks like on my wrist. So as you can see, the watch does wear quite small on my wrist, but with this being a vintage dress watch, I think I can just get away with it. The watch features an ETA movement, and the case is made by the Denison Watch Company. Denison was quite a renowned company for making high-end watch cases. So the next watch I'm going to show you is a watch that I purchased for a bit of fun, and it is a Casio Tide and Moon Phase watch. The reference on this particular watch is WS-1300H. I personally think this is a cheap and affordable alternative to a Casio G-Shock. I think this watch only cost me about £30, and it's great value for money for what you get. I'll just pop this one on the wrist so you can see what it looks like. It is quite a chunky watch and does have a bit of a G-Shock vibe to it. And with it having the Tide graph on the actual watch, this is actually quite a handy feature if you're like me and like going to the beach. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It means a lot to me, thanks. So the next watch I'm going to show you in my collection is my Christopher Ward C60 Trident Mark III. I do normally wear this watch on a metal bracelet, but as you can see here, I have got it paired with one of the Christopher Ward hybrid straps. This is the 40mm version of this watch, has a 600 meters water resistance and uses the Sleater SW200-1 movement. The hybrid strap from Christopher Ward is extremely comfortable and is a great addition to this watch. Hopefully I'll be getting another Christopher Ward for the collection very soon. So the next watch I'm going to show you is something that I've had for a couple of years and is one of my most favourite watch brands out there. This is the Hamilton Jazzmaster Auto Chrono. This is a 42mm automatic chronograph and features a Velju 7750 movement. The reference number for the watch is H326160. The Velju 7750 is an absolute workhorse of a movement and has been also used for the likes of Breitling and Omega. It is quite a chunky watch, as you can see, but I do love the sporty and dressiness of this particular version. The 22mm bracelet is quite chunky, but I do quite like the polished centre links and the brushed outer links on the bracelet. So this brings me on to the next watch in my collection, which is another Seiko, and the reference of the watch is SNXA11. I'm a massive fan of the Seiko 5 lineup. I think personally they're some of the best entry-level watches you can purchase. I've currently got the watch fitted on an 18mm mesh bracelet, as my wife has been wearing this watch more than me at the moment. The one thing I really love about this particular Seiko 5 is the salmon pink dial, which is really unusual. This particular watch is fitted with the 7S26, which is a fantastic little movement. So the final watch I'm going to show you is the latest purchase in my collection, and it is the Tag Heuer F1 Quartz. I can remember growing up in the 90s and seeing the original F1 Tag Heuer and thinking how cool that watch looked. Recently I've had some very mixed reviews about Tag Heuer, but this one came up at a really good price, so I thought I'd bite the bullet and just to see what I thought of it. The watch has a 43mm case, but with the female end links on the bracelet, it actually wears really well. The one thing that really drew me to this watch in particular was the blue sunburst dial with the orange second hand. So this is the current state of the collection of my watches at the moment. I just want to say a massive thanks to anyone who's made it to this far in the video. So what do you think of my collection? Is there any other watches that you would add or take out? Please add your comments below. Thanks again for watching and see you all in the next video.